At 68, Patty Loveless finally speaks up about Vince Gill. Patty Loveless was born Patricia Lee Ramey on January 4, 1957, in Pikeville, Kentucky. Raised in the small coal mining community of Elkhorn City, she grew up surrounded by the rugged beauty of Kentucky's mountains, where the sounds of bluegrass, gospel, and old-time country music echoed through the hills. Her father, John Ramey, was a coal miner whose health struggles due to black lung disease deeply affected the family and would later inspire many of Patty's most heartfelt songs about struggle, loss, and perseverance. Her mother, Naomi, nurtured Patty's love of singing, encouraging her to harmonize with her older sister Dottie. Those early family sing-alongs became the foundation of Loveless's vocal style, rich, emotional, and steeped in authenticity. As a teenager, Patty idolized country legends like Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton, both Kentucky-born artists who showed that women from humble beginnings could rise to the pinnacle of country music. Inspired, Patty began performing with her brother Roger, who played guitar and managed her early career. In the early 1970s, the siblings made trips to Nashville, where Roger had connections through his work with the Wilburn brothers. It was during one of those visits that young Patty sang backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and caught the attention of Porter Wagoner and Dolly Parton. These encounters gave her the confidence to believe she could make it in the business. Patty's early career wasn't without struggle. In her late teens, she married her first husband, Patty Loveless, whose surname inspired her stage name, Loveless. They performed together in small clubs across the South, blending rock and country influences, but the marriage dissolved, and Patty eventually returned to Kentucky to regroup. Her brother Roger once again encouraged her to chase her Nashville dreams, and by the mid-1980s, she was performing regularly in Music City. Her powerful, emotive voice soon attracted the attention of MCA Records, which signed her in 1985. Her early albums, including If My Heart Had Windows, 1988, and Honky Tonk Angel, 1988, announced the arrival of a major new talent. Songs like Chains, Timber, I'm Falling in Love, and Don't Toss Us Away climbed the charts and cemented Loveless's reputation as one of the leading voices of the neo-traditional country movement that brought the genre back to its roots in the late 1980s. The 1990s marked the height of Patty Loveless's commercial and artistic success. Her albums during this period, Only What I Feel, 1993, When Fallen Angels Fly, 1994, and The Trouble with the Truth, 1996, showcased her gift for interpreting songs with emotional honesty and grit. How Can I Help You Say Goodbye? Blame It on Your Heart, and You Don't Even Know Who I Am became signature hits, blending heartbreak, resilience, and compassion in a way that resonated deeply with listeners. Critics praised her ability to inhabit a song completely, bringing life to the lyrics through the aching vulnerability and soulful power of her voice. Her collaborations with producer and later husband, Emory Gordy Jr., resulted in some of the most sonically rich and emotionally layered country music of the decade. Together, they crafted a sound that was both timeless and contemporary, appealing to purists and new fans alike. Loveless's artistry went beyond chart success. She became known as one of the genre's most authentic storytellers. Unlike some of her contemporaries who leaned toward pop crossover, Patty stayed true to her roots, often revisiting her Appalachian heritage. Her 2001 album Mountain Soul was a landmark project that fused bluegrass instrumentation with country storytelling, earning widespread critical acclaim. It showcased her deep connection to her Kentucky upbringing, featuring songs that explored themes of faith, family, and the beauty of rural life. Loveless later followed it up with Mountain Soul 2 in 2009, further demonstrating her mastery of the traditional sounds that had shaped her life. These albums solidified her status as a bridge between country and bluegrass, celebrated for preserving the genre's soul while still innovating within it. Throughout her career, Patty Loveless has earned multiple awards, including several from the Country Music Association, CMA, and the Academy of Country Music, ACM. She was inducted into the Grand Ole Opry in 1988, one of her proudest moments, fulfilling a lifelong dream she had held since childhood. Despite her fame, she has always remained humble and grounded, staying close to her Kentucky roots and maintaining a reputation for kindness and authenticity in an industry often known for ego. Fellow artists frequently praise her for her generosity and quiet strength. Vince Gill, one of her longtime collaborators, once said that Loveless sings with the heart of the mountains in her voice, a sentiment echoed by many who have had the privilege of hearing her perform live. In her later years, Patty gradually stepped back from the spotlight, choosing to focus more on her family life and personal peace rather than chart success. Yet, she has continued to make select appearances, reminding fans of her enduring talent. In 2023, she performed alongside Chris Stapleton and Dwight Yoakam at the CMA Awards, where her voice, as powerful and emotive as ever, brought the audience to tears. That performance reminded everyone why she remains one of the greatest interpreters of country music in history. Patty Loveless's personal life, though often kept private and away from the tabloid spotlight, has played a significant role in shaping both her artistry and her emotional depth as a country singer. Her experiences in love, heartbreak, and eventual enduring partnership mirror the heartfelt storytelling that defines much of her music. Throughout her life, she has been married twice, first to Patty Loveless and later to Emory Gordy Jr., who became not only her life partner but also her creative collaborator and one of the most influential figures in her musical journey. Her first marriage was to Patty Loveless, whom she wed in 1976 when she was still a young woman, striving to find her place in the competitive world of country music. Loveless, a drummer and musician himself, shared Patty's early passion for performing. The two met while she was still developing her career, and their relationship began during a period when she was searching for her musical identity. In many ways, their marriage was defined by youthful ambition and the struggles of two artists trying to make a name for themselves in Nashville. Patty and Terry performed together in local bands before she gained major recognition, and Loveless's musical background helped her learn about stage performance, live touring, and the pressures of life on the road. However, as Patty's career began to demand more of her focus and energy, the marriage began to strain under the pressures of the music industry. Long separations, financial struggles, and the emotional toll of a career in transition took their toll. Loveless's early years in Nashville were filled with both promise and disappointment. She faced rejection from record labels and battled the uncertainty that comes with trying to build a career in country music. These hardships inevitably affected her marriage, and by 1986, after a decade together, the couple decided to divorce. Although their union ended, that period of her life would deeply influence her songwriting, as she later channeled the pain of lost love and personal struggle into some of her most moving performances. After her divorce, Patty experienced a few difficult years of personal and professional rebuilding. Yet it was during this time of soul-searching and renewal that she crossed paths with Emory Gordy Jr., a gifted musician, songwriter, and record producer whose contributions to country music were already well established. Gordy had played bass for artists like Elvis Presley and Emmylou Harris and had worked extensively in both session and production roles. When he and Patty began working together professionally, it quickly became clear that they shared not only a musical chemistry, but also a profound emotional connection. Their creative partnership flourished. Gordy understood Patty's voice, her storytelling instincts, and her emotional range like few others could. In 1989, Patty Loveless married Emory Gordy Jr., beginning what would become one of the most stable and enduring marriages in country music. Their relationship marked a new chapter of personal peace and artistic success for Loveless. After decades of friendship, musical collaboration, and shared respect, country legend Patty Loveless has finally opened up about her long and meaningful relationship with Vince Gill, both as artists and as people. Though both have always kept their bond professional and rooted in mutual admiration, Loveless recently shared a rare, heartfelt reflection on what Gill has meant to her career and her life. "Vince has always been more than just a duet partner," Loveless said softly. "He's been a friend who stood by me when the spotlight dimmed, when I doubted myself, and when I needed to remember why I fell in love with music in the first place." Loveless's voice, known for its emotional purity, carried that same honesty as she spoke about the years she and Gill shared stages across the country. The two first collaborated in the early 1990s, when both were at the height of their country music fame. Their duets, such as "My Kind of Woman," "My Kind of Man," became instant classics, praised for their seamless harmonies and the unspoken chemistry that made their performances feel almost spiritual. "When Vince and I sang together," she recalled, "it wasn't just two voices. It was two hearts speaking the same language. There was something natural about it. We didn't have to plan or force anything. It just happened." Loveless credits Gill with being one of the few artists who truly understood her as both a performer and a person. "Vince knew how to bring out the best in me," she said. "He pushed me to trust my instincts and sing from a deeper place." That's a rare gift. Not every musician gets to find someone who inspires that level of honesty in their art. She described how, during recording sessions, Gill would often stand quietly in the booth, eyes closed, listening with full attention. And afterward, he'd offer words that struck right to the core. He'd say, "Patty, don't overthink it. Just tell the story." And that's exactly what I'd do. Over the years, the pair's professional partnership grew into a deep and enduring friendship, one built on trust and mutual admiration rather than competition. Loveless admitted that the country music world can be tough, especially for women, but having an ally like Vince Gill made a world of difference. "In this business, you meet a lot of people who smile for the cameras but disappear when things get hard," she said. "Vince was never that kind of person. He's steady, grounded, and kind. When my husband, Emery, and I went through tough times, health problems, loss, or just the struggles of aging in this industry, Vince was always there. He'd call, check in, offer a word of encouragement. He's one of those rare souls who gives without expecting anything back." When asked about how their friendship has endured over the years, especially as both artists have taken quieter paths in recent times, Loveless reflected with deep gratitude. "We've both seen a lot of change, in country music, in our lives, in ourselves. But no matter how much the world moves on, I can always count on Vince. He's still the same gentle spirit who believes in the power of a good song and a good heart." Her tone grew tender as she added, "I don't think I'd still be singing if it weren't for people like him reminding me that music is about connection, not charts, not fame." Just Love. Loveless also spoke about their emotional performance together at George Jones's 2013 funeral, where she and Gill moved the audience